welcome into Fantasy Focus Baseball, the injury report. One of my favorite segments of the week, focusing on injuries. Hey, Stefania.
Nice.
Stefania Bell is with us right now, and we're going to kick it off here with Ryan Braun. He has got a bad thumb, which is killer for any batter, and he actually missed the last series against the Marlins. So what's your take on Ryan Braun?
I think they were hoping that missed time would help him out. He really hasn't been hitting that well over the last month. They thought a few days rest might allow him to then get back in the lineup this weekend, and it still might. They're saying that there's nothing really structurally wrong, that the DL might not help him. So it looks like they are going to test it out, see if he can swing the bat. But I'm a little concerned. Braun said that this is a nerve thing. It's between his thumb and his index finger. He's tried adjusting his swing. They've tried doing everything they can to help support it, and he's still having problems. If you're a fantasy owner, even if he's making it back in the lineup, I'd be concerned about the effectiveness of his swing as long as the thumb is an issue.
All right, watch and see for Ryan Braun. Moving on to one of the most exciting players to watch on the Nats. Very young Bryce Harper, but making a visit not too long ago to Dr. Andrews for a knee issue. When can we expect him back?
Not when he's eligible. You know, he's eligible to come off the DL this weekend. And I think initially we thought he might not even go on the DL, but persistent swelling related to bursitis in his knee. A lot of people think when you go see Dr. Andrews, Michelle, that you automatically get surgery.
It's a bad sign, right?
Not the case. They did 2 injections, one of cortisone to help inhibit inflammation, and the other of PRP, the platelet-rich plasma, with the hope of promoting healing in the area. Now, there's some discussion and debate about what the effectiveness of this is, particularly for treating something like bursitis, but they're going to rest his knee. He's not doing anything this week. He'll be reevaluated by the team doctors probably next Monday.
All right.
I would not look for him back in the lineup for at least 10 days or so.
All right, maybe some better news then, staying with the Nats with Steven Strasburg. He pitched a simulated game on Tuesday. When do you expect him to return? And then what can fantasy owners expect when he does return?
I think they can expect good things. You know, he's expected to make a start on June 16th, and he did very well in that simulated game. Said that he felt like his shoulder was still strong. We talked about him, Michelle, when he first went on the DL and said this was probably a protective move by the Nationals, that this was really to make sure that he didn't develop a more serious shoulder injury.
Right.
Sounds like not only has he recovered well, but he's really not lost any of his throwing strength. So I think plan on using him.
Great news for any Strasburg owners out there. Moving on to David Price. He's on the DL for a triceps injury. What's your prognosis there, and when could we expect him to be back?
This one's a little more concerning. You know, they talked about it being potentially just a 15-day DL stint when he went on, but it's turned into something quite a bit longer. Now the next test will be a simulated game on Thursday, and if that goes well, then there might be discussion about a formal rehab assignment, but it's still a few weeks away from Price returning, and that's presuming no setbacks.
All right, finally here, we're going to wrap it up with Brandon Beachy. He was a pretty popular guy to pick up and sort of stash on the DL. It looks like he might be back soon, but when can we expect his season debut?
Well, if you stashed him, now is the time that you're thanking yourself for doing that, because it looks like he'll be back this weekend. June 18th, he'll be expected to make that debut. And he's coming off Tommy John surgery, so just a reminder for fantasy owners that as good as a guy looks in rehab starts, they're still going to have ups and downs when they're back in the majors. It's not necessarily they come out of the gates 100% ready to go. You can expect some command issues from time to time, but he's looked good in his rehab so far. So go ahead and test the waters with Brandon Beachy.
So the jury's still out from the sounds of it as to whether or not he was worth the wait.
Well, you know, you're probably going to get some good outings from him. You just can't count on solid outings every single time. These guys usually come back and they waver a little bit. So see what he does the first time out, but so far he looks good. All
right. Thank you so much, Stefania Bell. And I've got a fantasy football update for you guys. It's never too early to prep for your fantasy draft for football, and ESPN has you covered. Click on the fantasy football page for all the latest news and videos, and pick up, there you see it, the 2013 ESPN Fantasy Football Magazine on newsstands on June 18th.
Look who's on the cover, my quarterback.
I know that guy, yes. Colin Kaepernick. For Stefania Bell, I'm Michelle Steele. We'll see you guys next time.